This is it, guys. This is our opportunity. For weeks now, the Chicago Bears have been thoroughly dominating their opposition, just blowing out opponents left and right, with one of the highest point differentials in the entire NFL, with zero respect to show for it. All NFL fans have been saying, oh, you just beat the Bills, you beat the Jets, you beat the Lions. Haha, come back when you face some real competition. Well, this, ladies and gentlemen, is real competition. We're going to be facing the Minnesota Vikings, a team that has dominated this division in recent memory, and was picked by many to be Super Bowl favorites for this year. It's a team that has went all in on this year. You know, they've invested in every single position. They invested a ton of money in a new quarterback. This team is all in. And the Chicago Bears will be facing off against that team on Sunday Night Football in front of the bright lights for the whole world to watch. If the Chicago Bears win this game, there will be no excuse left for the haters to have. We will officially become favorites to win the NFC North with a sizable lead, and we will get that respect that we have been waiting for. This is the most important game of the season. So in this video, I'm going to be discussing the matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings in Week 11 of the NFL season. It's going to be a very tough task for Chicago Bears because this team, even though it's a little bit, the Minnesota Vikings, I think they're a little bit overrated because you look at their schedule. I mean, they haven't really beat anybody, and you know, fans want to criticize the Bears schedule, but who have the Vikings beat? They've beat the 49ers, the Eagles, the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Lions. You know, the best win out of all those would probably be the Eagles, who, even the Eagles are struggling, you know, so much this year. So they're a little bit overrated in my opinion, but they have a ton of talent on both sides of the football, and they're probably still viewed as many as being the favorites to win this division, even though we are in first place right now. So if the Bears, if they win this game, you know, there's not going to be any excuse left, like I said earlier, for the haters. So even though the Vikings have been dominating this division in recent years, they have struggled mightily in Soldier Field the last couple of years. In the last 17 games at Soldier Field, the Vikings have only won 3 of those games and have lost 14. So, and that's, you know, that was when we had a bad team as well. Like throughout all those John Fox, Mark Trestman days, you know, we still got wins against the Vikings at home. So, you know, being that we now have a capable offense, a capable head coach, a very good defense, I think that there's no doubt that the Bears have a very good shot at winning in this game. Now, if you look at the Vikings and their losses, you know, there's not really a single best way to beat this team because they've kind of been all over the place. Like against the Saints, they got gashed on the ground. Against the Rams, they got torched through the air. Against the Bills, I don't know what the hell happened in that game. They just didn't show up to play. So it's kind of been all over the place, so there's not a single best way to beat this team. But the Bears, you know, they have a ton of tricks up their sleeve, and they have a ton of ways to beat football teams this year. So, yeah, let's get right into the 3 keys to a Bears victory. Key number 1 is going to be use the Thunder and the Lightning effectively. And obviously right here I'm talking about Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, our dynamic duo at running back. And, you know, guys, this running back duo has a ton of talent, which I feel like has not been unleashed, you know, fully yet. You look at Tariq Cohen, obviously Tariq Cohen has been, you know, used very well. But even then, I still think we can use Tariq Cohen more. But Jordan Howard, we have not been able to showcase his true talents, his true abilities in this offense so far. And that's a little bit worrisome because we're going to really need to use him, especially as the year progresses, when it gets colder and you can't throw the ball a million times. So, yeah, in this game, I really want to see Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen utilized effectively, you know, both of them combined. And it's going to be a tough task because the Vikings, they have a pretty good run defense. They're number 3 against the run, just behind us. But they've also been gashed by, you know, against the Saints with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. So in this game, I want us to utilize Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard effectively, and I want us to use, you know, the most of their abilities, because especially Jordan Howard, you know, maybe he doesn't fit the best in this offense yet, but that might just be because Nagy has not figured out a way to utilize him properly. You know, you look at, you know, we haven't really ran the ball as much as last year, and Jordan Howard, he might be the type of running back that you have to give him a ton of carries to get him going, but, you know, we have to figure out a way, whether it be through the passing game. We have not involved Jordan Howard in the passing game that much, and that's a shame because he showcased that, you know, he has some receiving abilities. He worked on it throughout the entire last offseason. So if you can get him involved in the passing game a little bit, maybe it's going to make things easier for him in the running game. Even though our run blocking has not been as good as it was last year, it's been pretty bad in certain situations. But also if it's like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, if you only have like a yard to gain, give the ball to Jordan Howard. I'm sure he can get it because he is a power running back that can steamroll through opponents, and he's had a lot of success in recent games against the Vikings. So we have to utilize him effectively. And obviously Tariq Cohen, you just have to get him in space. He's going to make people miss. He's a very dynamic. He's one of the most dynamic, offensive players in the NFL. So we have to utilize the Thunder and the Lightning effectively. So key number 2 is going to be that our pass rush absolutely needs to help our secondary. I don't care how good our secondary is. When you're going up against the likes of Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, there's only so much you can do if you're Kyle Fuller, if you're Prince Amukamara. You're going to need help from your pass rush at certain points in the game. Like if you give Kirk Cousins a ton of time to throw the football, he's going to find one of them open, either Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen. And, I have a lot of trust in our secondary. I think that Kyle Fuller is going to do a good job of Thielen, and whoever's guarding, Stephon Diggs at the moment. I think, all three of our pretty much our entire secondary is very, very solid. So we should be able to do a very good job regardless. But I don't know. It's going to be very tough if our pass rush does not show up. And I'm very confident it will show up because the Vikings do not have anywhere near the best offensive line in the NFL. They give up about 2.7 sacks per game, but I'm sure that number can become much higher when you're facing a team like us. I mean, with the dominant defense that we have, the defensive line that we have. And one of the major things, in this pass rush that if it happens, it's going to become even better, is that if Leonard Floyd decides to get more involved, if he decides to be the dynamic pass rusher that he can be, then this pass rush will become absolutely dominant because he's just the one part that's missing, opposite of Khalil Mack. If Leonard Floyd decides to go out there and, show the flashes that he has shown in the past, I'm sure that we're going to get a ton of pressure on Kirk Cousins, and it's going to make it a lot easier for our secondary. The Vikings actually have one of the highest completion percentages in the NFL, while the Bears defense, we actually have one of the worst completion percentages given up in the NFL. So that's one matchup to be wary of. But I'm very confident if our pass rush can show up, if our secondary holds on, Kyle Fuller do not get burnt by Adam Thielen, we should be fine in this game. And finally, key number 3 is going to be unleash Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah, that's right. Even against a defense that's this good, that has this much talent, in the secondary, in the defensive line, with their linebackers, I'm saying that we have to unleash Mitch Trubisky. Let him air the ball out. Let him run free. Mitch Trubisky is a type of quarterback that, especially when you let him run the ball a little bit through, RPOs or just design quarterback runs, or even not design quarterback runs, just when he decides himself to, run the ball out. He's the type of quarterback that when he runs the ball, he said himself that it makes it a lot easier for him to pass the ball because he feels more like he's in the game. He actually said that in an interview recently. So if Mitch can run the ball and we unleash Mitch's passing abilities, you look back at last year, do you guys remember the first game of Mitch's career? It was against these Minnesota Vikings at home. And we saw in that game that John Fox and Dowell Logains, they did not let Mitch Trubisky showcase his full abilities to this Vikings defense. Now fast forward 1 year when we have an offensive-minded head coach in Matt Nagy, we have a ton of talent surrounding Mitchell Trubisky. Now is the time to fully unleash Mitch Trubisky. Don't hold him back in anything. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know, there's some concepts that Matt Nagy said that they're slowly introducing that, because it's impossible to fully learn this complex offense in just 1 year. So maybe he doesn't know the full playbook completely, the complex parts of it, but unleash him as much as you possibly can. Let him throw deep shots, let him do what he wants, let him run the ball. Trubisky actually leads the NFL in touchdowns scored at home. He has a phenomenal 15 total touchdowns scored at home, which that's absolutely incredible. When he's in front of the home crowd, when he's in front of the home fans, you know, he's just fired up. He's dominant. His passes are accurate usually. His running game is on points. And this is a very tough task for him because the secondary of the Vikings, they are very good. So he might get a few picks here or there. You know, hopefully not too much. Maybe like one turnover is fine. But I'm okay with him turning the ball over once or twice if it means that he's, you know, fully out there, that he's testing this defense, that he's going deep, that he's not playing it safe, that he's playing to win. And ultimately, if we unleash Mitchell Trubisky, we are going to win this game. There's no need to hide Trubisky's limitations anymore by running the ball always or just doing short passes or screen passes, because now Trubisky has shown the NFL that he is a capable passer in this league. He can be accurate. So it's time now to fully showcase the powers of Mitch Trubisky. So let's get into my prediction for this game. And I actually have the Chicago Bears winning this game against the Minnesota Vikings 30-27 at home on a last-second field goal by none other than Cody Parkey. Yeah, even though he had a terrible game last week, everyone's hating on him, everyone's saying to cut him. We have to remember that Cody Parkey was a former Pro Bowler. He did make 7 kicks in the game prior to the last one, and I'm fully confident that he will be able to bounce back. Hopefully, you know, if he doesn't, then that's going to be very sad. But yeah, I have him having, you know, the game-winning kick in this game, and overall, I just think that the Bears, this is our year. Like I haven't felt this way in a long time, but this really feels like our year to win this division. You know, our coaching staff is so freaking incredible now. We have so much talent on defense. Our offense is very dynamic. You know, if you guys haven't realized, the Chicago Bears are actually the only team in the NFL to be top 5 in both scoring on offense and points allowed on defense. That's absolutely amazing, and that's going to show up in this game. Like, our offense is going to be dynamic in this game, and our defense will be pretty dominant as well. Obviously, we're going to allow points. We're going to allow, you know, a good amount of points because the Vikings have a very, very explosive offense, but I feel like in the end, we're really going to buckle down and make, you know, some very good stops at the end. The MVP of this game, I have being Mitch Trubisky. Yeah, even against such an amazing defense, I really feel like Mitch Trubisky, he is going to have that prove-it game to the NFL, even though he kind of already did have those prove-it games when people said that, oh, it's against the Buccaneers and the Lions, so it doesn't count for some reason. But I really feel like in this game, Trubisky is angry. He wants to be respected by the NFL. He is going to go off in this game. He's going to have a phenomenal game. I have him getting 3 touchdowns, 300 passing yards, you know, a good amount of yards on the ground as well. And this is a very risky pick because I could be absolutely wrong here, you know, because some games Trubisky has struggled with his accuracy, but I really feel like now he's fully in his groove. He's rolling right now, and Trubisky is going to have a solid day, and he's going to demolish the Minnesota Vikings. So that's going to wrap up my video. As always, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think about the score, about my predictions, who the MVP is going to be, and so on. So this is a game that, again, if the Bears are serious about winning this division, this is a game that we have to win. I mean, I'm so sick of trying to defend the Bears to other fans because they have the excuse that we haven't played good competition. But when we win this game, they will have no excuse left. The Bears will be 7-3 then. And with the games that we have left, I feel like we'll be a shoo-in to make the playoffs. Like, you got the Giants upcoming, you got the 49ers coming up, you got the Lions, that's 3 wins right there. Should be 3 easy wins. And then the Packers, I have no doubt in my mind we're finally going to beat. So we are going to get to 11-5 this season, Bears fans, at least. But we have to focus on this game right now. We have to go out at home on Sunday Night Football and dominate this team. 7-3, let's get it. Bear down.